Hey, what's up, guys? This is Joe14, the director, narrator, and all-around guy in charge of the Bionicle audio narration project, and I am here with...
Aptly said. I am Skull Kid. I am the assistant director, also the voice of Tahu, Pohatu, and Pterodax.
I am Gray Snow. I am the assistant to the assistant director, I believe. I am the voice of Onua.
I'm Mr. Sci-Fi Guy. I'm assistant to the assistant, and I'm the voice of Kopaka.
I'm LJ. Why are there so many assistants? And I'm the voice of Liwa. And I'm the stinking voice of Liwa, gosh dang it.
Yup. So, today we have a special behind-the-scenes episode, so you guys can all find out how the Bionicle audio narration project works in the background. You're not just hearing people talking. We're not talking in monotone voices. We're having fun in the background and enjoying ourselves, and we're doing fun stuff. So, little bit of introduction really quick. So, I think we should start off with some questions. So, first kind of random question. What is your favorite Toamata, everybody? Starting with me, I think I'm gonna go with Pohatu, probably, and then in order of our introductions.
Yeah, sure. That's a fun one. I've always been partial to Onua, just because he was one of my first... It was the first Toa I ever got, plus, I don't know, he had the claws. I thought that was cool.
I like different parts of all of them. Like, I really enjoy Liwa's and Pohatu's personalities and stuff, but Kopaka overall is probably my favorite.
Let's see, Tahu was the first one I got, and I ended up playing with him for hours on end. I still have him set up, so it's gotta be Tahu for me.
Just take a wild guess. I'm the only person here.
Maybe
Krakua.
It's Galley. Come on, guys. Come on.
Obvious.
No, I'm the only person here who voices his favorite Toa, so... Liwa power all the way.
Yes. So, that brings me to the next question. What is it like for everyone to voice their characters? And since I'm the narrator, I basically get to be a little bit of all the characters, give a feeling to all the characters, and that's really fun being able to do that, because I can't really pick a favorite, even though I think I'd probably pick Pohatu because I can relate to him in terms of personality the most, with him being kind of the jokester kind of person. And I don't know, he's got kind of that wise, fun attitude to him. But I really do like all the characters, and I like being able to give personality to all of them as being narrator.
Yeah, I always enjoy, my goal in life is to be a voice actor, so in that way, I've always enjoyed doing what I do. This is just fun to me, but specifically, like, for Tahu, it's interesting. I did Bionicle Rebirth Chronicles back 4 years ago or whatever, which is a little like animation style that Tokan did, and I didn't play Tahu per se, but I played Kenji, and it's funny how different that Kenji was the human host for Tahu. It's a long story. Go watch it if you want. But he was a lot more happy-go-lucky and curious, and Tahu's a lot more grumpy and, like, annoyed with everybody, especially in this first outing, just because that's how he is. He gets that trust later and becomes a lot less brash as he grows as a character, but, I mean, we're only in the first book, so he's down here and he's always grumpy. Not always, but he's just... why? Why did this have to happen to me? And so then Pohatu's the exact opposite. He's very happy to be what he is. He's got this booming voice, but he's very happy to be what he is, and he just loves hanging out with his buddy Kopaka. Ain't that right?
Yes, don't we all?
But no, Pohatu's fun, and I think I enjoy voicing him the most, just because I'm a much more happy-go-lucky person, and I enjoy hanging out with friends, and so that that kind of comes out. But even that, Pohatu, because he always has this kind of like performance voice going, is always been tough, because Jove will always have me like go back to my original audition and get into the Pohatu voice, because I'm still a new person at this, and sometimes I just can't get into the differentiation. And lastly, playing Pterodax, I get to ham it up real well. I get down here and I'm just, oh, you're trying to defeat me? Me. The Master of Darkness. And he's fun. We don't get very much of him in this first book, but I'm looking forward to Mask of Life, and especially Time Trap, because that's gonna be great.
Alright, with Onua, I've got to drop my voice pretty far down, but, I mean, that's fine, whatever. At first it kind of sucked to do that, but I've gotten a lot better at that. With Onua, I haven't had to do a lot with him yet, but there's more coming at least, so that's good. He's just a more quiet and reflective character, and that's probably my favorite feature about Onua. I'm not a huge fan of his character, but I really like his personality there, and I mean, I myself, I am a bit more quiet and reflective, and, well, not to the degree of Onua, obviously, but, I mean, it's not like I have to completely change who I am to try to get into his character and his mindset. It's easier for me to jump into him, I think, and I enjoy that at least, but a bit more of a challenge would be fun to do, maybe someday, but I guess we'll see as we go.
And let's see, for me, I originally was going with Pohatu before I got casted as Kopaka officially, and so that was a little fun because I wasn't sure about how good of Pohatu I do, but Skullkid definitely does a better one. He does a really good. He really does a really good Pohatu, and I was quite surprised when I was casted as Kopaka, because I didn't really think I'd ever be him or audition for him, but I just kind of did it anyways. I'm like, hey, there's this awesome project, I'll just kind of go for whatever and see what happens. And I like Kopaka. He's fun. I've always liked him. I never saw myself as him, but I understand his character a lot. I'm a bit of an introvert too, despite the type of work I'm in, so that's always fun. And he has biting sarcasm, and that's what I like to do. Very blunt, and it's just a very fun character with some good comedy in it, especially when he teams up with Pohatu.
I'm not really sure what to say. However, yeah, like
Liwa.
Yeah, I mean, Liwa power. We've been through this. Like Skullkid, it's also my ambition and goal to be a voice actor. Ever since the wee old days of, even before Rebirth Chronicles, which I was also a part of, and so young. It's probably why I didn't get cast very often for things, but that's fine. But now it's just, I've been practiced, I've been acquainted with doing this upbeat, constantly off-the-wall, sporadic personality because of everything I do for TTV and skits and the podcast and whatnot, so it's really nothing out of the ordinary for me. It's pretty standard fare, and I think I can be Liwa everywhere. You just need to ask. That's all I got.
So,
Okay, Jove, I'm sorry, can I just throw one more thing in quick?
yeah.
Yeah, I was also part of Rebirth Chronicles, I forgot to mention that. I was, Ryu Kopaka's human partner. Completely different, but yeah. I figured I should throw that out there.
What the heck? I'm the only one here who was a Toa. Dang it!
I think Josh and I are the only ones here who haven't been a part of it. Unless Josh is hiding a secret and he's actually Makuta or something.
I was a narrator for something.
I mean,
It was.
sorry.
I don't know if it was Rebirth. It was one of the next gen projects.
Oh, it was probably Bionicle.
Yeah. I was the narrator for that. But
LJ laughs purposefully.
That didn't really go anywhere.
But no, like Rebirth Chronicles was one of like I wouldn't say it was the first, because that might be a lie. It was the first one. It was the first project that I was aware of that had like at least a decent production value to it. The guy who animated it was really cool. I caught up with him over email, and he's off actually like learning how to do animation, which is real cool. But it was one of the first ones, and that was actually the thing that got me into being like saying, "Hey, I could actually do this." And then here I am.
Mm-hmm. So you guys kind of already answered the next question partly, but I want to get a little bit more detail on it. How has the character that you are voicing challenged you? And I'll start off. Because I've been primarily used to voicing actual characters. This has challenged me because I have to go on for a lot longer. It's not like me getting in just a few lines. I have to go on for a really long period of time and continue representing each character on their very own. And that's, while it's fun, it's also kind of difficult sometimes, giving a representation to a character. Like when I'm narrating Kopaka, I have to kind of go down in this voice, like kind of deep thinking kind of way. And then when I'm doing Golly's narration, I kind of calm my voice a little bit more so I can give a smooth feeling, like Golly's character kind of represents wise, one with nature, water kind of character. And then when I'm doing Lua's narration, I have to kind of act a little more cheery and happy.
Because I am, I'm not very good at remembering things. Remind me the question one more time.
How has the characters that you're voicing challenged you as a voice actor?
Okay, yeah. I mentioned Pohatu before, and again, he has a very performance-like voice, and it's a voice that I have to get into and become. So I have to listen to myself from my audition, listen to it and like get back into it, because I'm not normal. I mean, yeah, I'm a theater kid, but I'm not that much. I'm not. That's not how I usually speak, Pohatu. So I have to just kind of get into it. I don't know. I've the other two kind of come to me. The one thing I really like to look into when I'm doing a voice is the context of what's going on. Like, for instance, in a couple chapters ago, there was a point when Tahu gets really frustrated with all the Toa looking up at this tree and being like, "How are we gonna get this mask down from this tree?" And Tahu's like, "We can just burn it down." And then he burns it down, and he's all frustrated when he burns it down. And then Golly gets mad at him, and I tried to take that context of what's going on, not just make him grumpy, but like make him like, "I'm sorry that I didn't mean for that to happen." Like, to put some actual sympathy, just to vary it up, because Tahu isn't grumpy all the time. It's just the early team dynamic of how he is. And then, Makuda's Makuda. I'm sure I'm gonna find new challenges for him later down the line. I will say the one thing that I'm gonna have to really work on is my evil laugh. Because yes. There was this one point when I was supposed to do an evil laugh, and I spent 15 minutes like, does that sound right? No, that doesn't sound right. I gotta do it again. No, that sounds silly. What am I doing? That kind of thing.
My biggest problems with voicing Onua so far, aside from having to drop my voice down, which when I started out really hurt my throat for doing prolonged periods, but I'm past that by now. My issue is mainly trying to create the proper emotions with the voice. Like, I can just drop down to a deep voice, I can do the lines, I can try to get there, but I don't think I'm hitting the right emotional cues all the time. Like, I know what I have to do, I know what I'm trying to do, and it's just not completely coming out as I planned them to. So I have to work on that, and I've been spending some time here and there trying to make that work out. But hopefully by the next few books I'll have that down a bit better, especially in some of the more emotional scenes that he has to do. Especially with... I don't remember exactly how it plays out with him and Lua with the Krana, but yeah. Hopefully by then I'll have something good.
Well, with Kopaka, at first I was really worried that, like, I'd come off very monotone because he's either cold or just snippety with everyone. I guess snippety's not the right word, but he's very short. And as I started to go through the book, I realized how much I liked him because he has a lot of internal struggles and just trying to think through every situation. And I'm very familiar with voice acting and acting in general, so it was a real fun time for me, and I look forward to every line he ever has, and then all the other books of him, because there's a lot more of him than I thought in the first book, and that made me happy. And there's a different range of emotions besides him just being angry or questioning authority and stuff, and at least I think that, and I hope people get that when they listen to it. But,
I actually wanted to say a couple things really quick about Kopaka's character, and I really didn't realize how big of a character Kopaka is in the first book, but if you really look at it, Kopaka's kind of like the main character for book one. He does a lot of the inner monologue, a lot of the thinking for the reader. He's like the next... He's like, if you didn't have a narrator, he'd be the one narrating kind of character. And then also... even though Kopaka's kind of like the most, when you first look at him, you think of him as the least emotionless, or the most, is the word I'm looking for? The
most cold.
He doesn't have as much, yes. And I actually have had, quite a few people mention that out of everyone, they've noticed Kopaka has the most emotion out of all the characters, but you don't see it a ton in his dialogue, you see it a ton in his monologue, inner thinking and stuff, and I find that really cool, and I like how big Kopaka's become, because even though, again, I find it hard to pick a favorite, I like Kopaka's inner personality, how he thinks through a lot of stuff, and just his outlook on things. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fun, and it was definitely a good surprise, and I didn't have to change much of myself for him. I just had to make sure when I do a deep voice, I'm not going crazy deep and just being boring. I had to find a mid-range level for me to do it.
Is it my turn? Yeah. Leo, I think it's you.
Okay, question. That's a question. How has voice in the character changed? It hasn't.
I'm pretty sure this guy is the embodiment of Liwa, so...
I've tried to be.
As the resident Liwa master.
See, I've got the mask. It's the gold mask, so I've already gotten all the other masks. And I'm just trying to work on not getting hit by Krana. But no, it hasn't really, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, because I've spent so much time doing stuff for TTV, the podcast, the recap review skits, so on and so forth, and I'm really not trying to plug anything. I sincerely am not. But, you know, I've had experience doing that. I have grown up doing that, and I know I'm not perfect. I need a lot of work. I'm nowhere near the level that I probably should be to get into professional voice acting. However, I'm constantly trying to work on it, constantly looking for constructive criticism, so on and so forth. But as a character, this role has not challenged me. Maybe in the future, I'll find something that will. But now I'm not saying... Go ahead.
I'm going to find it interesting because the first book kind of had a lot of the... kind of all the characters, but in the second book, if you really look at it, especially Lua and Anua are kind of like the main characters in there, with Lua being attacked by the... Oh, yeah, spoiler alert, just in case you haven't read the books yet, you might want to mute your audio. When Lua gets face-hugged by a Krana, and Anua comes to... Originally, he came to just get him, but then ends up trying to save him from this Krana, this embodiment that's gone inside him and's trying to take over his mind.
What? I didn't know that was gonna happen. What the heck?
I told you to mute your audio.
Ah, dang it!
Now, next thing you're gonna tell us is winter is coming.
What?
I feel like we should all break out singing Let It Go right now, or Let It Snow.
We can
I
put that
feel
at the
that
end of the podcast.
Bad
Yes.
things would happen, and I don't sing. People have gone deaf due to my singing.
Really now?
What? What?
At least you're honest about it.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I tried to be. It's a goal of mine.
So yeah, next thing that we're going to jump into is how we do auditions and casting. So, it's not just me listening to some people talking and saying, hey, you'd make a good this, and then I cast them. So there's actually a lot of work that goes into the auditions and casting, and after the amount of editing for episodes, it's probably the next most difficult part of the project. How it works is, initially I will have someone send me an application with information about like when they can record, what abilities they have, and what characters they'd like to voice, and then I have them send me, there's two sets of auditions that they will do. The first is called recorded auditions, where they will just send me recorded lines about a minute long for each character they're interested in doing, just to give me an idea of how they would represent that character. And once I get a feeling for how they act and how they fit a particular role, I may say, yes, you'd be good at that, let's try having you do some more for that. Or I might say, hey, you might be a lot better at this. And that actually happened with a couple people here. With Ian, I suggested that he try for Pohatu, and Josh, I suggested that he try for Kopaka.
Who did I audition for?
Initially, I believe you auditioned for Tahu and Anua.
Yeah, I think I did Onua as well.
Yeah.
You can't deny trying out your favorite.
Mm-hmm. And then initially, Mr. Sci-Fi Guy, aka MSFG, aka Josh, initially
my
was
real name.
In
No!
You can find me on Facebook. Josh, good luck.
Hundreds of Joshes. Hey, it's Kopaka.
The only one posting about Bionicle.
Yes. So initially he was interested in trying for Tahu, and he did actually do a good job of Tahu, but because of the way that he kind of had a more monotone voice, I figured that he would fit better for the role of Kopaka, so I said, hey, why don't you try for Kopaka, and it ended up working out quite well for that. So that's kind of how it works. Initially, I'll have people do the recorded auditions, and then if I like how things are going and I feel like they've got commitment to it, I will have them schedule with me a live audition in which me and at least one other member of the directing staff, which include at the moment Skull Kid, Mr. Sci-Fi Guy, and Gray Snow, they will, at least one of them, sometimes more of them, will join us and give constructive criticism and ways that we can improve their voice, suggestions, and what they did well, and stuff like that to help us come to a decision. And then once they've finished with that, that's referred to as their live auditions, we go into the casting part of the process, where typically we'll do it 2 to 3 weeks before the character is actually voiced, and we will vote to decide who gets the certain role. So we'll take all the lines that we've got for every single person that's tried out for a particular character. Like, say for example, we've got all the people who are trying out for Nuju. We'll take 3 or 4 people that have tried out for it and listen to them all back to back and pick which one we think best fits it and vote, and then that will determine who gets that role.
And just because, like, if you are one of these wonderful people out here who have auditioned for this and haven't gotten some sort of role, it might not be because you did bad or whatever. In fact, for most of it, it's not. Exactly. It's not because you didn't do bad. It's because your voice just doesn't fit that particular character. And there are so many more characters within this vast universe that we call Bionicle that
I don't think I've actually had to turn anyone down officially. It's either been them deciding that they're no longer interested, or I've just decided to wait on them because I feel like they'd fit another character better later on in the future. And I think just about everyone's auditions that I've heard, I think they would fit well for at least one particular character, whether it be minor or main character, that is somewhere in the future. So any of you guys listening who have auditioned, chances are you're going to get a part at some point during Adventures or Legends, but I just feel like you would fit better for that particular character rather than a character in Chronicles. And we can't use up all our good actors right off the bat with Chronicles.
So, actually, because you are our director, Joel, and I'm sure the people are very interested. What goes into what goes into your specific
decision making? So, first and foremost, obviously, the most important thing is acting ability, how well they fit a role, but also I look at availability. Obviously, if the guy's like he's got 20 years of voice acting experience, but he can only record 30 minutes out of a week, I'm not gonna hire him, because it needs to be able to be enough availability that I can work around their schedule, and also, attitude is an important thing. This is an important thing because I want to create not just a good project. I want to create a sort of community, with us, because I feel like, at least, that we've actually bonded a ton as a team, and all of us know each other really well. It's not just a bunch of guys recording stuff and saying, oh, hey, I know you voiced this character. We actually all, know each other. We've gotten to know each other. Some of us knew each other beforehand, but at this point, I feel like we know each other pretty well in our interests and stuff like that. And I really like that sort of environment because it helps people stay interested in the project, and it's nice to get to know other Bionicle fans.
I am the avatar. I mean the exception.
Yeah. Sometimes LJ is not always around, but you still join in some conversations.
Yeah, but we understand your plight, LJ. You are a busy man, and you're part of the whole TTV thing, which is a huge thing. So, we understand your plight, but we also enjoy the fact that you are the physical embodiment of Liwa. So, yeah.
I think this is the first time I'm in a call with you, LJ.
Why don't you silence yourself? Or I'll silence you.
You can't censor me. I'll just...
That's what I thought. Anyone else?
No, it's okay, Almighty LJ. We bow to your power.
I silenced him.
Yeah.
Do you wish to be the next victim?
Be careful. If he takes the arrow away around your head, you can't scream.
Anyone seen Avatar?
Yep.
Legend of Korra? There we go.
That's terrifying. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, quiet. I haven't seen it all yet. So
Korra dies.
Don't tell him that!
Oh, I'm sorry.
I hate it. I'm never watching it again.
Avatar 1 dies.
So everyone dies. It sounds like a horrible anime gone wrong.
Sounds like Game of Thrones.
It does.
Or Spartacus, actually.
Yeah, but we all saw that coming.
Yeah.
Or Attack on Titan. Oh.
So, next thing up is how recording sessions work. So, again, we don't all do stuff separately.
Hi.
Some of us prefer recording on our own time. Some of us record together. Typically, in a normal recording session, I think it's usually me, Skull Kid, and Grey Snow, and then Mr. Sci-Fi Guy will sometimes be there. And typically, LJ will not be around for those just simply because he's got work, but that might possibly be changing in the future.
Work's
and
over.
It really helps. It really helps having people there to help with just creating the characters, because just because you're voicing a character doesn't mean that you know everything about it, and just because someone else is voicing a different character doesn't mean they couldn't give input on that character. Like, for example, Mr. Sci-Fi Guy's voicing Kopaka, but he could give some input on how to voice Anua, and it could actually be good input, and it being together helps us create a better character group.
And a better product, even. I think it's good for... there's times when it's good, and there's times when it's not good. But I think for the most part, especially with the dynamic of the Toa, it's a good thing. Specifically, because it is the because it is the most talk about bromance. Pohatu and Kopaka have probably have to work off each other a lot, because they have playful banter. Kopaka, at least at the beginning, is like, nah, I don't want to deal with this, and Panda's like, come on, buddy, let's go find those masks. And
It's the perfect sitcom right there.
it is the perfect sitcom.
Yes.
The Odd Couple.
Two
And either
Toa,
way, but
one Koro.
how will they get along?
Why?
Lewa, are you Kramer? Is that it? You just Kramer?
Okay, guys, wait, listen.
Layla
You're
comes
never
in,
gonna believe this.
It's just like, hey, I got a bunch of Mata fruit. You want to join me? And we're like, no, Layla, we're in the middle of something. Okay.
Wait, you gotta get the door slam.
Door slam. But either way, but back to it. It's important to have that dynamic because, yes, I'm sure I could do an okay job, working off a non-existent partner, but being a theater major, having taken acting classes, it is so much more more real if you have someone to work off of. And so there's like moments where like Kopaka says some like kind of, cold, rude thing, and Panda's like a little hurt, but then he brings it back to a joke because that's how he is, and it's good to have someone to work off with. And I mentioned the Tahu and Gali thing earlier without knowing that line and without someone there. Although now that I think about it, I'm not sure if she was there during that recording. It doesn't matter. That kind of thing, to be able to play off of someone else being really offended by what you just did, and then you having to be sorry about it. If someone's actually there and it sounds like they're offended, then it's much more like, oh, you can actually get to that place where emotionally.
Yeah,
And
like
so it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I really enjoy doing the Pohatu scenes with you. Like, I only wish we can actually meet up in person and do a few scenes like that and have it
One of
recorded.
these days.
When we got when we're on the panel of some con,
Exactly. Yeah, when they invent teleportation.
using the same old jokes because we don't have any new ones.
You know,
Do
I am-
Koro sitcom again, okay?
I love it.
this has made me realize I really want to do some sort of scene in the same call with, what do I call you? Profile? Brian?
Yes,
Do I
right.
call you that? Do I call you?
Whatever you want to call me.
Real name.
Okay, Frankfurt.
Ah!
So, no.
Find him on
Really
Facebook.
excited to do a
Brian.
scene with you, like the whole Liwa Anoa
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
These guys have got me wanting to do that more now. Gosh dang it.
No, you can work magic. It'll be great.
Oh man. Am I a wizard?
Yo, Wizard
You're
Harry.
a wizard, Harry. You're a Harry wizard.
I'm a what?
So yeah, another thing that people have been wondering how we do is synced recording, and this pretty much falls under the Akamai Werua lines. And in the future, it will include the Krana and Lua lines. So
That's
that
gonna be fun, LJ. Get ready.
Oh, I'm so ready.
you get to be doing synced recordings with Skull Kid here.
I was born ready.
So people are wondering how we do that, and basically how it works is we start off with a bass recording, and typically we pick the person who has the most rhythmic ability to their voice, and in other situations it'll also be the person who feels like they are least capable of syncing their voice, just so they can have an easier time doing it. And in this situation with Werua, we picked the voice of Gali, Pirate Jonah, to do the bass recording because she felt like it would be best if she could be the bass, so she doesn't have to sync her lines up with other people. So we start with a bass recording, and then we have all the other characters that are doing the voices sync their voice to it by listening to it, and we kind of try and get a rhythmic sense to it so we can do that. And I might splice in some Werua attempts at syncing our lines. Maybe it won't quite work out, but working through that process it's extremely difficult. It's probably one of the hardest things we've had to do, but it's also one of the most rewarding because it really gives a very interesting sense to characters.
It sounds so cool.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, Mr. Gray Snow here.
I'm not He-Man.
Sorry,
By the power of
Castle
Grayskull.
But Mr. Gray Snow here, my Onua. He was my base because it was easier, not because he's incapable. I'm sure he's very capable, but because it only needed to be passed to me, being the voice of both Tahu and Pohatu. And I will say, Mr. Gray, you provided me with a good base. And it was it's just a simple, like, I'll have my headphones on, and I'll have my microphone, and basically I hear him do the line a couple of times, and then I record my line at the same time, and most of the time it's maybe about a millisecond off. So I will take that in Audacity, and I will just kind of move it to the left just a little bit so that it syncs up a little better. So that's basically how I do it. And of course I adjust the pitch where it's needed, and yeah, that's basically how I do it. It sounds a lot more easy than it is, but it usually takes me about 30 minutes or so to get like maybe like five or so lines down. It's fortunate that a Carmine or don't have that many lines.
Yeah.
Yep. So next thing up is how we do editing. So this is probably the longest part of the process and the most that falls upon my shoulders. So I not only am the director and narrator, but I also do the majority of the editing that we have. How it works is, after we're done recording, I'll drop all the recordings in Audacity, and depending on whether or not we've had recorded together, I'll have the synced audio. Is probably the easiest to add in because I just sync it up, and then I'm done with that. Sometimes I'll make like small changes to it, like if it's a little bit off, but people who don't have their lines with it, I will take and I'll have to splice in those lines. Another thing that we do is pitch editing, and some of our characters have a voice that is usually not attainable by normal means, so we do some pitch editing. These, at the moment, only include the voices of Tahu and Makuta, which are both voiced by Skull Kid. And if he wants to talk a little bit about that, how that works, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, sure. Like what I do for those voices.
How the pitch editing affects the
Yeah, sure. Well, basically, basically for Tahu, in Audacity, there's you can affect the pitch, and basically for Tahu, it's not that I can't get lower pitch, but it's and it's something I'm working on. It's more along the lines of when I try to go down here like this or something like this, it sounds kind of unnatural. And so what I'll do for Tahu is that I'll take his vocals, and I'll just go at about 5% deeper. It doesn't make it sound unnatural. It just makes it sound just slightly deeper. And that's what I do for Tahu. Very, very specific. But for Makuta, everyone knows Makuta has that really deep voice, like so unnaturally deep voice. So, like, I will, like, I'll do my very best. I'll get down here and talk like this and whatever and da. But the thing about his is everyone naturally not everyone, but most Bionicle fans expect Makuta, just because of the movies and whatever, to have that unnaturally deep voice. And so I will take it and I will bring it down to about 15%. So it sounds like a really deep voice. But the important thing about it is that Makuta has a sort of rasp. He talks down here and that kind of thing. And so as long as I have that, it makes if I don't have that, it just sounds like somebody like edited down real deep. But if I keep that effect in there, it actually starts sounding like Makuta. Now, there's other things that kind of go into it. Like, we've talked about a couple things. There's a point when, spoiler alert, that Makuta possesses a robot, and I have ways of making his voice a lot more robotic. For the Krana in the future, I'm not going to give too much away, but there's a much bigger editing process that goes into making that sound.
The robotic voice.
There's a robotic voice. It sounds it sounds like disconnected a bit. We'll let you hear it eventually, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in a future behind the scenes, whatever. But that's kind of what I do. I'm curious, Brian, because I've never asked you. Do you do? I know you have a naturally deeper voice than I do. Do you do anything with Onua?
No, I don't. I actually don't even know how to do it in Audacity yet. So.
Huh. Well, I mean that's good because you sound pretty good anyway. So like, see, he's got one up on me already.
So, going back to the Krana, actually, based off the release date of this particular behind-the-scenes episode, within the next 48 hours after you guys listening to this, you will be hearing the very first chapter of Book 2, hopefully, and that will include lines for the Krana primarily, so get ready for that. That'll be a great treat to listen to that. So, next up, there's the SFX and the music. So, a lot of people have been asking for more sound effects, and I've been trying my very best, and especially in Chapter 14, which will be released tomorrow, but based off when you guys are listening to it, it'll already be out for you, hopefully. And it'll give you guys a chance to see how much I can add to it. It's kind of difficult sometimes to add sound effects because I primarily use them from MNOG and other games, and I actually defer to a guy on BZP by the name of the Skeleton Man 939, and he actually provides me with pretty much all of my sound effects and music tracks. And he's actually been a huge help. He usually gets back to me within 30 minutes to an hour of when I ask him for something. And especially in Chapter 14 and hopefully 15 and 16, you guys will see there are some pretty cool sound effects that you can multi-purpose from the games. And you guys will get a chance to see that. And some of you guys should listen closely to some of the sound effects and try and look where they originally were used and how they can fit another purpose for a sound effect. Then the music, which I have to admit is one of my favorite parts of editing, and it can be both easy and difficult. I will pick a track, typically from MNOG, that fits the kind of environment best. With the first 6 chapters, it was an easy choice. I just picked the particular Koro. So for the Tahu chapter, I picked the beach chant, which is kind of iconic. For chapter 2, I had a Lei Koro theme. Chapter 3, I had an Anu Koro theme, etc. Chapter 6 is where really a lot of the other themes come into play. In Chapter 6, I have the Hive battle theme used when Kopaka and Pohatu are battling the Kene Ra. And then as it goes on, Chapter 7, I use the Chronicles company theme, which I'm actually thinking of adding to this video, so if you guys are hearing it right now, you guys will know that I decided to add that. And as chapters go on, I have to pick particular tracks that fit better. Sometimes I will come across a track that partly fits, that has kind of multiple sections to it. For example, the Hunters in the Drifts theme, if you guys know that theme, is actually a combination of multiple themes. It takes the Kokoro theme, it has a wind background noise kind of ambience, and then it also has the Hive battle theme. And I actually cut out parts of it in order to fit the scene better. And then for parts of chapters 6, 8, and I think maybe 10, I have kind of a wind ambience theme that really isn't much of music, but it kind of takes the place of music in that sense. So it's one of my it's one of the fun things that I like to do at the end of something, and really gives background to it. And it's one of the things that I was most eager to add in, because it really gives more emotion to the book. It's not just people talking now. You can almost, because of the music, you can almost feel yourself in an environment. Especially if you've played the games, you'll recognize themes and almost put yourself in the position of that. Like, you'll hear the Lake Horror theme and you'll be like, oh, we're in a jungle, kind of thing. So yeah. Any thoughts from the cast on the music, SFX, and editing that they'd like to add in?
I don't deal with that.
No, not really.
Music is music.
Hey, LJ, and you're I mean, I know you've done other projects. Do you have any background in some of that?
Minorly in vocal editing, very, very slight, because I used to edit the podcast for a small amount of time, so I know a little bit about what Joe's talking about with ambience and music. I'm going to be getting into that a lot. More heavily? Is that how that's proper? Okay, that sounds proper. So I know what he's talking about, and I can understand it's pretty difficult. And so far, he seems to have done a good job choosing the music for certain scenes. I think in some instances, in some constructive criticism here, in some of the scenes, specifically fight scenes, I feel that music could be more intense. Like, a track could have been more... Oh yeah, oh man, I'm getting pumped up, oh man, it's like watching the Avengers all over again. But
I get pumped up listening to Hive Battle.
Yeah, I think it's from doing some of this kind of thing in the past, it's a delicate balance. You don't want to make, you need to choose the right music. You don't want to make the music too loud so you can't hear the vocals, but you don't want to make it too soft, so it's like, why is there even music?
Yeah.
I was curious, Joe, what do you like? What goes into your thought process when it comes to that kind of balance?
I typically drop any music track at least 10 to 15% right off the bat, because that's usually how low it has to be in order to still hear the vocals. And depending on a particular scene, especially if it's a tense moment, I will do one of two things. Either I will raise the sound of the audio, or I will greatly drop it. If it's something like, for example... when Kopaka is having I don't want to call it a flashback, the kind of dream vision state in which he's seeing Weru or Akamai talking, I actually raised the audio of it's the Red Star theme, and it's really, every time you hear each of those notes, it kind of makes you cringe while you're listening to it. It really kind of, at least for me, sends kind of a shiver down my spine when I hear it. And other instances, like, when I want to give, like, a build-up to something, I'll make the theme really quiet and then slowly get louder and louder. And a lot of the music tracks will already have that, but a few of them won't. So I've had to do fade-ins and fade-outs to fit with that. Especially for, like, the intense battle scenes when there's the Kene Ra battle in Chapter 6. And in Chapters, I believe it's 8, with the Kofu Jaga. I didn't pronounce that right, did I? Kofo Jaga. With Tahu, I kind of have a more louder music. It's not so loud that you can't hear the lines, but it kind of gives you it kind of gets your heart going faster, kind of thing, and it really gives an intense feeling. And you guys will probably be hearing this in chapters, especially 15 and maybe a bit of 16 as well. Right at the end of 14, I have some of that, and it really, I was really pleased with the way chapter 14 turned out, with the way the music works out in relation to the lines being stated. Believe it or not, this is actually somewhat of a new thing to me with the music editing. I haven't really done a ton of it. I have done it on a few other occasions, but I've actually found that it comes kind of naturally, knowing how to fit that together with particular lines.
Yeah, it's awesome that you put that much effort into it, and we have someone who, like you, who is willing to go through all that and really analyze everything from every single perspective and just make the project as great as possible.
This is really a passion for me. I really am glad to be able to create something like this. So, with that, we're gonna get closer to the end. I wanted to say, looking ahead, what do you guys think? And I'm asking this also to the people listening to this. What do you think we can most improve? I've already heard a few things. One thing in particular is people want Gali to sound less shy and more firm as a character. And I am in agreement with that, and we will actually be working with her character and all the characters, to be honest, on how we can improve with the next book. And I can tell you that with book 2, things will be getting even better.
We'll all be improving. And I will say one thing to keep in mind with specifically Gali is that even though she might sound a little more unsure, this is the first bout with the Toa. This is her first encounter, as she thinks, with the Toa. This is a brand new thing. She might not be as, confident in herself, and that's gonna come later. It's part of character development. So there is that context to take into consideration, but we totally understand that. I've had people tell me that Tahu is too grumpy sometimes. I agree. There are some times when I could have probably used more, put more emotion into it, and heck, I'm gonna work my butt off to make sure we get the best project out there that is good for you guys. We love you.
Yes, we do.
Lot.
Yes, a lot.
So, anyone else's thoughts on how we could improve the project? Things that you'd like to see more of, things that could be made better as we look forward.
I don't know. We've come a long way from the teaser trailer. Even the first chapter was pretty simple. And then literally a few chapters after that, sound effects, music, everything. When I first heard my Kopaka chapter with Me in the Snow, I was like, whoa, I'm on Mount Ihu walking around. That's me. I'm Kopaka. And so editing wise, I think, and production wise, it's just really, really good right now. And the rest of it is all up to us. And how are we gonna help each other grow in our characters, and how are we gonna help the new actors that come across our way, and how to help coach them to bring out their best and maintain a really good quality throughout the entire series.
Cool.
LJ, any thoughts on how you think we can improve?
He put a BRB.
He wants more Liwa, though. That's what he wants.
I'm sure he wants more Liwa.
Yeah.
He wants his own book.
Liwa's Adventures in High-Flying Whateverness.
Well, what if there was a whole story serial that was revolved around him? Oh, wait, there was.
How'd that work out?
There were multiple ones where Liwa became kind of a main character. I feel like he's kind of a fan favorite among people, especially among... I find it interesting, Greg hates tree speaking. Yeah, he kind of made Lua into a bigger character than the other ones in the serials. If you guys didn't notice that, there are at least 2 serials that really focused on his character, with the one with Trent Crom, and then in the, I believe it was the Powers That Be.
He kind of got himself for a short time got himself roped in with some of the most powerful beings in the Bionicle universe outside of Matanu and Makuta.
Just go, oh, Liwa.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Just shaking your head as he gets possessed by the spirit of Trencrom, and it's just like, oh. I was between laughing and just my jaw dropped, and then I just burst out laughing that happened. Lua's mind. Poor Lua, the happy-go-lucky guy, is trapped inside of the body of a giant squid.
I wish Trent Crom would have to speak in tree speak when he used Liwa's body.
Yeah, it's like, Liwa, why aren't you speaking in tree speak? tree speak. I am happy with.
Burns, you stupid face. Get out of here.
Happy fly, go. Let's fly quick and what's another word?
At that point, he just storms up, going, "I was the original power source of the universe. I don't need this." He just storms
The
up.
only reason why I possess this body is because I couldn't find a better one. That must have been ridiculous. You just see this giant red blob, and it's like, what is that? And it's like an Agori talking. That is the blob, Trendcrom.
Stop laughing. I was the original power source.
Powerful being in the universe, a giant red blob of.
Does he not have power since he's outside the Matoran universe?
Oh no, he has.
Because
No, he's always had a psychic ability.
no, I mean,
He's
but
had
like
psychic
able
ability.
to control,
He's able to do like.
able to,
No, he's
because
yeah.
he manipulated Protodermis, right?
Is it wrong that I always looked at Trendcrom and thought of a giant blob of red Play-Doh? Every time I think about Trendcrom, that is what comes to my mind. A giant blob of red Play-Doh with 2 black dots for the eyes. And that's it. And maybe like a stupid grin.
He sounds so cute.
He's like a little tiny baby grin.
Yes. It's like Heather. Kind of like creeper face kind of thing.
So Jove, is there anything else you want to bring up?
That's pretty much it for the stuff that I wanted to talk about. So really quick, I also wanted to get some thoughts. Looking ahead is not just about the books, it's also about looking ahead to Bionicle 2015, because shocking news, everybody's jaw drops. Bionicle's coming back!
Wait, what? Bionicle's coming back? I didn't know. I'm just kidding. Yes.
So, looking ahead, what are your guys' thoughts? And this is completely, this is just free talk. What are your guys' thoughts on Bionicle 2015 changes that you guys think have been made? Things that you like, things that you don't like, just in general. What do you guys think about Bionicle 2015 to wrap things up?
I'm very optimistic. I understand their choices of doing a reboot. I understand everything that they've done. It's from a good marketing perspective. Most of their old fans, such as I'm 21. I'm an adult now. Like, I understand why they want to kind of reboot it and go back. It's just like the fact how there is a 1980s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV series, and now a 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, and then there was one like in 2003. It's that same reboot to kind of keep up with the trends, do something, keep the familiar stuff, but do something different with it as well. So I'm super excited about that. I'm glad they kept the Toa. I enjoy most of the sets that I've seen so far, and just some of the ideas that they have so far. We don't know very much about it yet, but it's very, very interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably not be buying as many sets at all, outside of maybe a couple with a Lego gift card that I just so happen to have, just because I don't have the money to do that kind of stuff anymore. But I'll probably actively be keeping up with the story as much as possible, because I've always enjoyed what Lego's brought to the table.
When I first saw the sets, I wasn't sure what to make of them. I really like the tribal look. I'm a little confused by the golden armor on only 3 of the 6 Toa, and things like that, but the designs have slowly grown on me, and I might have to pick some of them up, but I have other things to buy, and limited room in my dorm, so I really don't know, but yeah, I mean, the mere fact that it's back is just amazing. Like when the mask creation image was found, I had to go to Spanish in like 20 minutes, and I hate Spanish. And that image comes out, it's all confirmed right there. I mean, leaks aside, it's all confirmed, and just, wow, this is gonna be a good day. I don't know what to make of the story information we have, or at least the character bio information we have, like the whole very, very obvious kid appeal traits that the characters have, like, oh, golly, can't tell a joke. I get why they do that stuff. For the older fans, I'm not sure what to make of that, but I guess we'll see how obnoxiously done it is.
Right.
I
mean, hopefully it'll just be underplayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can see them doing that very easily, like, but if they're going to be constantly referencing it and doing it, like, every 5 minutes, I'm out. I won't be able to handle that. Like, I mean, it makes sense to do stuff like that, but it just depends how well they play it. Yes.
I mean, I don't want to spend an entire, like, I know they're doing online episodes. I don't want to spend an entire online episode of Kopaka and his map quest adventures.
Actually, I would like to watch that. I'll give you that one.
Gosh, that would be awesome. I mean, what?
They said the Mask of Power's over here. No, wait. Over here.
Here.
No, wait. Over here. Oh, there's only 4 directions!
Buddy, Kopaka, buddy, I think you're holding the map backwards.
There's only 4 directions. There's only so many ways we can go.
It's okay, I'll just use my boomerangs.
Yeah.
Just fly across the sky on your boomerangs in search of Kopaka. What if they don't pair Kopaka and Pohatu together?
No, they have to! They have to!
What if it ends up being like Kopaka and Gali?
I don't care.
Like Kopaka and Blue.
No.
And then Pohatu and Anua get stuck together or something. No, Tahu and Anua. Oh, that would be
Well,
entertaining.
Papa and Anua are already kind of a combo sometimes. At least on the comics,
yeah, I
on the
don't
comic
know.
book covers.
Maybe just a wee bit.
For me, overall, I know, I keep up with a lot of the LEGO groups, and I see still a huge amount of people upset over, like, the way Bionicle's coming back, and I just gotta be like, guys, come on, it's back. It's been so many years, and I'm just literally happy that it's back.
Who cares if Lua's face looked like it's smashed
Yeah.
in? It's still Lua.
Yeah, all the ones all the Toa look great except Leela. I just don't know. I just don't like them. But I'm just really happy of, like, how they're doing things. Like, even Okoto still looks like Motunui. You know, the Kimu, which is basically Artaka or Motunui, is great. And then the way they designed Makuta in the little cartoon, like they drew his face, I think it just resembles how he looked in the movies in general. They have, like, the squarish type of mouth and stuff. And I'm just happy all of them are back. And, like, I love Gali's redesign. She looks great. Even Taku's new mask, it grew on me. And I still would have liked the older version where it looked more like the Hau, but whatever. My only gripe about everything is that the mask powers are pretty much gone, probably, where it's just elemental mask powers. So, because that was my favorite thing out of all Bionicle, where, like, we gotta get the mask powers, and later, second movie, like, we gotta find out our mask powers. And then even with the Inika, they're like, we gotta find out our mask powers. And after that, it's like, alright, they're the Mario, they're like, just use your mask powers, just go. Do it. And then from there, it just kind of stopped. Even with the
I
whole...
enjoyed the mask powers. It gave them, like, a second ability.
I know,
Gave them
right?
a second ability to use.
And-
And I won't lie, they might not call the mask Kanohi anymore, or, like, the Hau or Miru, whatever. I'm still calling them that.
Oh yeah, seriously. And it's just, I don't know. It's that's the only thing that bothers me. But they might change it. There might just be like they might just make it simpler instead of saying this is the mask of this, which has the power of this. And I don't know. They might work it into somewhere. But overall, it's confirmed for 3 years. The story's wide open. And so we definitely got like a 3-year arc ahead of us, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to see all the references they're going to throw back at us, because I know they're not going to do too heavy of references, but they're going to do just enough every now and then that we're going to go, oh, that's awesome. It's bad. Yes. All this type of stuff, so I'm really excited. And especially, like, when I saw the pictures from Comic-Con, I was like, ooh, it's gonna be great. And then I saw the video of Tahu's functionality, and I was just like, oh, gear functions and posability? This is everything I ever wanted from when I was like...
started squealing when I saw that.
I know, I was just like, I need it. I need it. Great.
Fanboy moment all over.
Yeah, because I know I'm getting the Toa. The defenders, yeah, I'll get
I'm a little less about
protectors,
the
defenders. They're
Protectors, get it right.
I'll get one
Sorry.
just so I can know how the projectile shoots. I'll probably get Onipu, but
I love how everyone's calling him that.
it's him and stuff. And
I just have to say one thing.
mhm.
How do you expect me to stop calling them Kanohi?
There's gonna be a bunch of terms. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And
Kodo.
I'm
do you
excited.
like the new Liwa?
Oh yeah. I really do. In fact,
Okay.
while we're recording this, set review for the Liwa set just got released. Var did one. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm really excited. I like the new Liwa. I like the way the sets look.
Var did a Liwa video?
Yeah, he just put one up. It's on the message
Does he
boards.
have all 6 of them?
We all collectively have all 6, and by we I mean TTV, not we as in every single member. The others got to go to a VIP event, and they were allowed to take home a bunch of parts, whatever they built, and they cobbled all the parts together, and they have the ability to create all 6 Toa.
That's smart right there.
That's awesome.
Yep, so all of them are going to get reviewed. Maybe Sans a couple, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But Tahu's done, Liwa's done,
Onua.
Kopak's next.
Onua's the hardest of them, correct?
You mean Onua, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Onua.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I thought. I don't know. I don't have them.
I'm sorry, okay?
But
Not in front of the
they're all getting
children.
reviewed. I am super excited. I'm eager with the new direction. I mean, I missed the old story, but I'm glad to have been a part of the old story, and now I'm excited for the new one.
Definitely.
For better or worse.
And we'll always have the old story to go back to.
There's so
it's
many
not-
people complaining like, you're gonna ruin Bionicle. You can't ruin what's already been there. You can, if you really hate it that much, you can shun the new stuff, but...
That's the great thing about reboots. It's not our Bionicle. It is a new direction for Bionicle. And I have faith, considering that they are very clear that they're going to respect the roots, that they're not going to just mess this up.
Yeah, and
We had our
everyone just needs to like accept that it's back. Get excited. Everyone's gonna buy the sets anyways. At least one. And they just need to let go of things like people still going, finish the serials. I'm like, I would love for the series to be finished, but they just don't apply anymore. I'm sorry.
Exactly. And Greg's just not interested anymore. He wasn't paid to do that kind of stuff. And I respect his decision to stop doing it. I mean, yes, well, I guess we'll never figure out what Valleca was wanting to do.
You always
But
have
whatever.
That's for when one of us gets rich and we go to Greg and we're like, hey, here's money, just bullet point me the rest of Bionicle. Just tell me what you want. What's Takanuba's destiny? What happens to Kukua? Just tell me.
We actually found out what Takanuba's
Yeah,
destiny
we
was
did.
going to be.
We did. There was supposed to be some sort
battle
of civil
between the
war
great
with
beings.
the great beings, and he was apparently had some sort of key role in that.
Something like that.
Oh, that would have been
Oh,
so amazing. Stop
we,
it. Just
so
don't
we
talk
don't know.
about
We don't know what specifically it is, but we know that he's the key.
Yeah. I am going to like the new Bionicle. I'm going to forget about the serials and what they could have been. I will forget.
No, you
He can never forget.
haunt you in your dreams.
No. So, yeah. I think that is pretty much it. I would like to thank everyone who has stuck through it all. We've almost got a little over an hour running for this behind-the-scenes episode. We hope that you enjoyed it. And yeah, I am Joe14, the director, narrator, and all-around guy in charge of the Bionicle audio narration project, not Facecast. And I was here with...
Skull Kid, Tahu, Pohatu, and Pterodax, also assistant director.
Gray Snow, assistant to the assistant director, and Hoa Onua.
Mr. Sci-Fi Guy, assistant to the assistant, Kopaka.
And LJ, still wondering why there are so many assistants, the voice of Liwa. and it is Liwa, dang it.
Yes, it is.
That is a debate for another time.
Thank you all for listening, and have a wonderful weekend.
Merry Christmas.
And have a good night.
Yeah, and happy naming day.
Yeah.
If you're from the future and you have all the new Bionicle sets, give them to me, please.
Don't give any to him.